Hello there, folks. I'm live here in Monmouth County, New Jersey. It's a kind of muggy day out today. It's supposed to be more like this the coming week. It's always nicer here in the summer than DC. DC's just inland enough that it's pretty hot and muggy. Here it can be humid, but usually it's more 80s than 90s. DC today I saw it was like rainy, but it was like 91, feels like 100. So not exactly ideal weather. Here it's about 88, feels like we are a bit inland from the ocean. So right now it's like 88, I think feels like 94 or something like that. So it is pretty toasty out, but thankfully the cloud cover's over, feels just fine. But yeah, I'm just thinking I'm gonna do a live stream here at my grandparents' place. Really nice yard they have here, and probably gonna head over. There's a needle palm, which is in walking distance. I think it's like a 30-something minute walk. It said that. I usually walk pretty fast, so I'll probably get there in less time. And show you guys that, and show you guys the palm here, which I made a video of. So that's really cool. And yeah, just talk to you guys about all things palms as usual. Anything else you guys want to talk about? Just here for the live stream, and yeah, really awesome. So hope all's well where you guys are. Weather's just been nuts. It looks like the crazy hot weather from both the north and I guess Quebec and Ontario. I guess the fires have made it. I know I saw they were getting some heat up there. I don't know how much that's fire related. And then obviously Texas and the South were just broiling. It's finally made its way over. DC, great cool weather, and of course we get right into summer. Summer started off really cool, and now it's just baking. 90s this entire week, and it's supposed to be cloudy, which sounds good, but it actually kicks the humidity up. So it's supposed to be like low 90s, feels like 100 or just below it. So that's pretty typical DC weather for summer. It was like 70s and low 80s previously, and low humidity, which is extremely abnormal and very comfortable, which was great, but that seems like that's kind of a thing of the past for now. And here, yeah, yesterday was just a spectacular day here. I think the high was like 80 or just below it. By the beach, nice sea breeze. It just felt amazing. Again, today is much more muggy. Seems like more of that to come. The weather's been really weird. The air quality sucked 2 days ago, so we had to stay indoors. Yesterday was like okay, it was like above 100, but not terrible. But we went to the beach. It was great. And air quality is better now, but it was said it was supposed to rain every day. Thankfully today it's actually held off. It's already now, what time is it actually? I don't actually have the time on my watch now. I gotta be wary of that. But actually, yeah, what time is it? It's like I just checked this. I'm completely blanking now. I think it's 3 something. It's like a little after 3, and rain's held off for now, but there's like chance of showers every day. Same with DC. So we're getting rain. I know, which is good. My grandparents said that the New Jersey, as DC has been getting, we're really dry, and then New Jersey got a lot of rain just like DC, but this area and sort of the corner by the coast apparently has been spared the rain, which is not good because they definitely need the rain. So it's been quite dry here. So any rain here is welcomed for all the plants and everything. But I don't know. It's like on and off showers, kind of like Florida weather. Very unusual. And now, of course, the heat's kicked up. Texas, I know, has just been baking for the into like the 4th week now, 110s. I saw Phoenix also. I mean, that's not unusual at all, but the whole week's in the 110s in Phoenix. Of course, that's a dry heat, but it's still crazy hot, and I mean, nuts weather. I don't know. I mean, this has been the most unusual year, at least that it's like the only like the 3rd or something year that I've actually been seriously tracking the weather, because I followed a lot, especially having palms and everything. You gotta track that kind of stuff. Water, rain, humidity, heat, and of course cold is the most important thing to track in winter. But it is just the most unusual year weather-wise. Crazy cold blasts around Christmas, crazy mild and even warm January and February. Very cool spring, and then now heat kicks up, humidity kicks up. We have this like near drought conditions, and got pummeled by rain in the DC area, and it's been really dry here. So very weird, but that's just a little summary of the weather. And yeah, I don't know, very unusual. Oh, anyways, hey Cal, great to see you in there. Really appreciate you joining in as always. 74 in London today, cool conditions as the jet stream is bringing air from the Arctic. That is amazing. Gosh, 74 and a low of 60. I mean, that's like Southern California weather. That is perfection. You guys just have great summers over there in the UK, which, yeah, I personally, I would gladly take a cooler summer on the cooler end than our crazy hot, muggy humid summers in DC, but I know the palms love it, and obviously the palms in the UK, you know, love the mild summers there too, because the winters are nice and mild. So that is just awesome. It's great to see you in here, by the way. And yeah, really appreciate you joining in, Cal. Great to hear London's having good weather. As I was saying, it's just the humidity's kicking up. The shore is always nicer. It's always probably, you know, like 15 degrees cooler by the shore, and it feels great with the breeze even on a day like this. But we're like probably 5 miles inland, so the heat already is it's hotter. I think it's like close to 90 right now. It feels like close to 95. So it's pretty hot, and the sun's now coming out. It's like on and off sun shade. So the rain, it's supposed to start raining somewhat soon, but hoping to show you guys some of the palms here. Got one palm here in my grandparents' garden. So finally I've given one of my family members some palms, which is awesome. And then there's a needle palm in walking distance, which I'm going to go show you guys. So really awesome. Appreciate you, all you guys that are joining in. I really always means a lot. And yeah, just you guys watching and joining the live streams makes it so much fun. And I really appreciate all you guys, seriously. Hey, Damien Dunaj, thanks for joining in. How's it going? Where are you, by the way? I think you told me before, but I'm forgetting your location. Hopefully the weather's nice where you are. Hey, Great Northern Exotic Garden. Are you in Ontario? Great Northern Exotic Garden? I've seen your content, I think, but I'm now forgetting your location. I'm sorry about that. Great to see you in here. 2 weeks ago, it was in the 80s and 90s. Wow, lows in the high 60s. Jeez, that is hot. But it's probably not crazy humidity. I'm guessing it's low humidity, which is nice. Because, again, DC today is like 91, but it feels like 100. So that is not fun. And it's not too much cooler here, but it is cooler. Yorkshire. I'm so sorry, Great Northern Exotic. There's someone with a name similar to yours, and I've definitely seen your content. There's someone with a name similar to yours who is up in somewhere in Southern Ontario. There's a lot of palm YouTubers in Southern Ontario. But that is awesome. Yorkshire, of course, great climate there. I remember you speaking with you, obviously, on some of my previous live streams and stuff. And yeah, very palmy over there. I've been looking, especially on Facebook, a lot of people have been posting. There's a whole UK exotic gardening forum. Someone just posted this massive washi, and I think it was in South Sea or some town on the south coast. Just a massive, like, you know, probably close to 40-foot Washingtonia out there looking great. Really appreciate that, Great Northern Exotic Garden. I always appreciate you joining in the live stream, and no, it's so much fun. One of the most fun parts. I love making videos. I love scouting out new palms, but doing a live stream is just great because I get to have, you know, I love responding to your guys' comments very much and hearing from you guys, but it's just more, you know, I think it's just better actually doing it in real time, getting to talk with you guys. It's just so much fun, and I get to blabber on about palms, which is probably my favorite part. So really appreciate you guys listening and joining in. Hey, Max, great to see you in here. How's the weather where you are? Hopefully it's good. Love the profile picture with that coconut on the beach. 28% humidity. That's just fantastic. Yeah, I think DC was like the lowest humidity during the hottest part of the day was still in the 60s or, you know, close to 70% humidity. Similar thing here, so it is hot and humid here. The clouds bring humidity, but they also bring relief from the sun, so it's a mixed bag. Hey, Super Nerd, great to see you in here. Appreciate you joining in. Hi, you should go to Logie's Greenhouse. Where is that, Logie's Greenhouse? Cold hardy pineapple, guava, musabaju, bigger than, wow. Gosh, I would love to see that. Babaco, oh, wow. Palm trees maybe too, and mulberries. Wow, where is that, Super Nerd? What's the location? Is that New Jersey? There's apparently another Caryota. Are you kidding me? Another one? Another Caryota in the UK. That is just blowing my mind. I mean, it's like when I first learned about palms, and it still does, it blew my mind that there were washies up there. Obviously, I've learned more about the climate. Of course, the climate allows for it. But, I mean, the fact that, like, you can grow Caryotas, that's like, those are obviously true tropical palms. You know, obviously, they have some hardiness, but you know, I mean, I'm trying to think where, like, the northernmost place on the East Coast, a Caryota, I don't think you'd even be able to grow one in, like, coastal Georgia. I mean, maybe barely, but I mean, definitely there's parts of Florida where a Caryota would get killed. Certainly. That is just amazing. Another Caryota planted out in the UK. Well, that is just nuts. We did have one humid day with a 68.5. Wow, 68.5 dew point. That is humid. Our dew point peers today is probably at least 65, I'm guessing. Maybe probably more because it's very high humidity today. Yeah. Anyways, yeah, so I'm just going to show you guys the backyard really quickly. Great flower garden that my grandpa works on over here. There's a hummingbird feeder, which we gave him over there. Really nice woods back here, too. It's very interesting. I'll show you guys some of the plants in the woods. I'm actually going to walk through the woods to get to the palm. But, yeah, you can see the beautiful flowers there. Really nice. That's the hummingbird feeder right there. I saw a hummingbird yesterday out here. I actually have it in my video. I caught it on tape, which was awesome. I made a video of this palm. So this is my grandpa's shade garden. Really beautiful. They have like a seating area here. This is in Monmouth County, New Jersey. Again, 5 miles inland from the coast near Asbury Park. And this is like central North New Jersey on the northern coast. And there's a sable miner I gave him, looking great. It looks like it might have had some bites taken out of it. The deer apparently have just been, you know, rampaging through the garden, eating everything. Literally all these plants have just been munched on by the deer. They leave the ferns alone, which is great. My grandpa was explaining to me he has these big ferns about this size, and all these ferns that you see in here he actually transplanted because they produce so many seedlings. There are some perennial ferns that are deciduous, but they keep coming back and they produce all these seedlings that just get blown over into the yard, and he transplants them all into here. So he said he's replacing the entire shade garden with ferns because all the other stuff, this kind of stuff, just all gets eaten by the deer. So I hope the deer leave the sable miner alone. It's looking good. It looks like I might actually put out its first split leaf frond on top there, you can see. So that is just awesome. But yeah, sable miner growing here at my grandparents' yard. He's been fertilizing it and everything. He is a good, he's a lot of experience with gardening. So that was just awesome. I talked to him a lot about it. And I'm going to start heading into the woods, by the way. Nice Norway spruce there, and then a blue spruce, obviously planted, not native. But I'll show you guys some of the native plants here. It's pretty cool. Some sort of yew here. I think that's what this is. I don't know what this is. Some little conifer. Let's head up here. See what's going on. So there's some pines here, which is cool because all our forests in the DC area, pines are quite rare. It's it's sort of this transition zone, near subtropical, but it's still cold enough that you don't have a lot of those subtropical pines. It's very deciduous, which is not my favorite. But here, even though it's kind of probably a little colder than the DC area, there's a very mixed forest type, and you get a lot of these big pines, which I think is awesome because I just love evergreens. Try to see one. There's one there. You can see a big one up there, so that's pretty cool. But what was I saying? Yeah, I saw some prickly pear today, wild prickly pear growing along the dunes. Right in the middle of the city, there's these natural dunes areas right at the end of the boardwalk. Wild prickly pear growing along it. So I got 2 videos of that. I'll be posting those shortly. Got a video of the needle palm I'm about to show you guys too. So I'll be posting that. And I'm gonna try doing an update on those trackies that I filmed a while ago. And what was I gonna say? But yeah, I told my grandparents about the prickly pear that I saw because they were really shocked to see the ones at my house. And I told them that they're native here, because they are, obviously. And they were very enthusiastic about that. So they wanted me to bring up a pad. So next time I come up, I'll just bring up a pad or find one here. And then you literally just put the pad in the ground and it starts a whole new colony. So they're amazing plants and native here. This yard is a chicken coop back here. See all the roosters and stuff in there. Very cool. Anyways, this is pretty cool though, because they're in the middle of this suburban subdivision, but they have this really, one of the few yards that has this big natural wooded plot. You can see, I think these are, what are these? They're not shortleaf pine. There's some, I'm forgetting the name now. It's one of the most common pines in New Jersey, but this beautiful subtropical look to it. Looks a lot like a loblolly or something. There's a mimosa tree down there too. That's a very tropical looking plant. But yeah, there's an industrial park back here, which I'm gonna go through towards the needle palm. It's a bit of a walk there, but not too far, so get there shortly. Anyways, guys, let me get to your comments. Connecticut babaco is related to papayas, strawberry guava, lemon guava, hardy pomegranate, dwarfer. That's really cool. Szechuan pepper, Schisandra rare fruit vine, tropical legumes. That's amazing. So where is this place? Is it in Connecticut? 69 Fahrenheit maximum today, but it feels colder with strong winds. Hey, I would take that. I would take that weather. Although honestly, right now it's not bad. It's like 88, feels like 95. So you think that's really hot because it's almost 90 and humid. But honestly, I'm in the shade here. It feels fine, and there's a breeze. There's always a breeze here, even though we're 5 miles inland. The ocean breeze manages to make its way here. It's always hotter, but it's still nice and breezy, so it feels great. And the clouds keep coming over, which is good. But it's supposed to thunderstorm later, so I honestly do like the weather here. I wouldn't live here. Obviously, the winters are cold and also kind of windy, but they're not terrible. They're like the DC area, and the weather here in summer is great. just overall a kind of interesting interesting area. And I do love the sort of coastal areas. There's this some beautiful old neighborhoods in there that are very unique. Really love them. Sorry, my shoes. Could I adjust them? There we go. Anyway, sorry guys, let me get to the comments. Got a lot to get to here. That's really nice, Max, though. That's good weather. High of 69. I would honestly, yeah. I love that cool weather as much as I do love the hot, muggy weather, like Miami, obviously. It's good for palms, but not my favorite. Not my favorite. Hey, Gem State Tropics, awesome to see you in here. Wow, listen to that cicada. Crazy. I've not heard a single one this year. And of course, 2 years ago, we had the cicada apocalypse where they were just literally, I mean, you walk on the grounds, the 17-year cicadas. And I mean, it's like every 2 inches, there's a cicada littering the ground. I took my bearded dragon. For those of you who know him, Scruffy, you just put him down in the ground and he goes munching the cicadas. It was awesome. But wow, I'm hearing a lot of cicadas now. That's something you probably don't have in Idaho. Or do you? Gem State Tropics, I'm curious. Are there cicadas in Idaho? I would imagine not. I would think it's a more temperate thing. But I just heard about apparently this California after the wet winter. They're having mosquitoes like crazy, and I didn't think they had any of those out there. So who knows? You probably do. Let me know. Anyways, I'm curious. Cicadas in Idaho. But it's great to see you on here at Gem State Tropics, and hope all is well in Idaho. Hope the weather's well. The weather's treating you well. Hey, Igny, great to see you on here. Thanks for joining in. How's the weather in the north of France there? Probably pretty cool, which is nice. It is hot and muggy here. Yesterday was cooler. Here's more of these beautiful pines here. Again, this is pretty unusual. For some of you guys, it's like, okay, more pines, who really cares? But coming from the DC area, there are pine forests, but most of them have been completely chopped down and they replaced with deciduous trees, which I just hate. I just can't stand the deciduous trees. I mean, not that I don't like them. There's some beautiful oaks like this, some really nice ones, willow oak. But in winter, it's just such a drab sight. I really prefer the evergreens. There's this big water tower here. But it's honestly pretty nice out. I'm great, thanks, Igny. How are you doing? Look at this. This is really interesting. This actually looks like somewhere, I don't know how to describe it. It looks like somewhere, almost like a Mediterranean climate. It's very open in there, and you can see those pine trunks. It's very unusual. It's very sandy. This is actually a great place. I bet there may be some prickly pear back in there, actually. Maybe I'll check that out on the way back. I kind of doubt it, but that's great prickly pear habitat. Really good. I'm guessing this is all like recolonized. It was probably chopped down at one point, but look at all these pines. Just gorgeous. Looks very subtropical. Gotta love that. And the pine scent is just amazing. Wow. It smells like I'm out, somewhere in like Georgia or something. Beautiful smell. Hey, Jeff, great to see you in here. Tropical garden guy. Great YouTuber out in Modesto, California. Great climate out there. 110 today in Cali. Wow. Amazing. I guess when people say California has the most beautiful year-round weather, they usually refer to the coastal areas. Not that 110 is, 110 and dry, honestly. I've been in that only once when I was in Phoenix. And you'd be surprised how, 110 sounds like, the most miserable thing. 110 and humid is literally unbearable. But honestly, in the shade, it just kind of feels, I bet in the shade it probably feels like today. Today it feels like 95. It's again 88 feels like 95. So humid, hot and humid, but the clouds are overhead right now, and it honestly feels surprisingly nice. There's a constant breeze blowing, which is what we don't have in the DC area on a day like this. So that feels great. Here's sunset. I gotta turn here. It's kind of hilly here. It's very interesting. I'm not used to if you go in Maryland by the shore. We're 5 miles from the coast right now, or less, actually, sorry, I said 5 miles, like 3 miles. You can actually see it from some of the vantage points up here. Very rare. The eastern shore of Maryland is perfectly flat. It's all farmland. Here, it's actually very hilly, which is interesting. That high rise right there, that's right against the ocean, if you guys can see that. It's like a new luxury high rise. That's right on the ocean, so yeah, that's probably like 2 miles, honestly. All those buildings out there. It's nice views from up here. There's more of these pines here. I don't know what they are. But 110, Jeff. Hopefully the humidity is low. I'm sure it's really dry, which is probably good. Probably feels nice. But those Central Valley areas, Sacramento, Modesto, Stockton, Bakersfield, all those areas, Bakersfield, yeah, I don't know. I've seen the weather there in the past. It is just crazy hot there. And Palm Springs especially, that is like, I think, even hotter than Phoenix. It's amazing how hot it gets there, but I'm sure in the shade it feels good, or at least tolerable. But 110 that is crazy. Phoenix I saw is in 110s all week. Texas too, and in Texas obviously got more humidity as you go east. Crazy. Hopefully it's not too bad. Hey Cal, it looks like by July the 7th we should be back to the mid to high 80s. Okay, yeah, well, again, if it's low humidity, that's really nice. But London just has really, really nice weather. I'd say a good, at least 9 months of the year, it's like really comfortable outside. Obviously, winters are kind of, chilly and rainy, but not cold. London really doesn't get very cold, so really quite a tolerable climate. And I do like the rain, personally. I love the rain. They also have finger limes, citrons. Wow. Very interesting. That's really cool. Currently 90 Fahrenheit and very dry. At least we're going up to 100 today. Wow. I saw the entire West just like that. I was looking at weather in New Mexico. I have Albuquerque as one of the places on my weather app. I always check the weather there. I saw it was like high 90s to 100s. So that is hot. You guys have hot summers, but with the dry weather, I'm sure it feels great. And also I know at night it cools off a lot, which is great. Like Phoenix is always like high 70s to 80s at night, even if it's like 115 in the day. So that's nice. Nothing but sunny and hot for the next 2 weeks. Wow. Here and in DC, very mixed bag. On and off showers and very hot and muggy. DC is all in the 90s now. We had such a cool start to summer, like 70s, 80s, and low humidity. Now it's every day is like low 90s, feels like 100. So, and I got to do yard work in that, because that's what I'm doing this summer. I'm second summer in a row. I said I'd do something different this summer, and you know what? I guess I'm just cut out for yard work, because that's I'm a plant lover, I'm a palm lover, and I do advise people on some stuff. Like I actually got some cacti and planted them for this person I was working for, so I thought that was pretty cool. I can actually spread my love of exotic plants and hopefully get some palms planted in people's yards. But yeah, yard work again. And again, it felt good, but right after I started is when the humidity and heat kicked up. Working in, a day where it's 95 and sunny and humid, that is not fun, I'll tell you. That is just rough. There's some pines there, so nice, very mixed forest here. It's really cool, honestly. There's some beautiful natural areas here. If you go up to Sandy Hook, prickly pear everywhere on the beach, just absolutely everywhere. And I got a video today of some just growing right by the city on the dunes, right on the beach. So that was really awesome. That's pretty cool. Nice blue spruce there. Lots of those here. It's a very interesting climate. Connecticut, yes. Okay, got it, super nerd. So unfortunately, I was going to go to Massachusetts this year, but we had to cut that out of we're just, with moving and everything, we're not able to make it. But I would love to check that out, that nursery. It sounds pretty cool. Lodgy's nursery is called? Yeah, I'll check that out if I'm ever up there. Connecticut's cool. They got some palms up there. I know there's a big palmetto growing. It's actually listed on the state big tree website of the champion trees. There's like a 7 or 8 foot palmetto. It's just fronds. There's not even a trunk. There's barely a trunk on it. Like, it's mostly fronds, massive fronds. And they mummy wrap it every year, but they don't even add heat to it. And it survives year after year on the south facing wall at, I think it's University of Connecticut. Sorry, no, it's not University of Connecticut. Maybe it's University of Bridgeport. It's in Bridgeport, Connecticut, right on the water. So probably a good microclimate, 6B, 7A, but still pretty cold for a palmetto. So that was pretty impressive. I've always wanted to check that out if I go up there. Sandor, great to see you in here. How's it going? Hopefully the air quality is better. Today it's below 100 for the first time in a couple days, so not too bad. But it was close to 200, yesterday and the day before especially. We had to stay indoors, but hopefully it's all right where you are, and hopefully the weather's all right. Wow, look at that. Geez, that's a big, crazy. But yeah, hopefully all's well in southern Ontario. I know northern Ontario is where the fires are. It's a huge province, I know, but the smoke makes its way down. But hope you're doing well. Great to see you on here. Loads of mosquitoes here. Oh, Cal, I'm sorry to hear that. I heard California again this year. California is having mosquitoes. A place that was always in my mind a refuge from the mosquitoes, because in DC in the summer it is unbearable, the mosquitoes. Like, I walk outside and I'm just bitten up like crazy if I had to go out to film a video or anything. So it's just horrible. But this year again, it's been so cool that the mosquitoes haven't really been a problem, but I think it's just starting to kick up now. That sucks though. Yeah, I guess that's what the wet winters do. Are there usually a lot of mosquitoes in the UK? Because I wouldn't imagine there are, but maybe there are. I don't know. Hey, just wondering where in continental North America might you find the northernmost outdoors palm trees? Great Northern Exotic Garden. There were ones, and it's definitely on the west coast. It's not the east coast. The east coast, again, if you go up to the same latitude as like London on the east coast, it's like Newfoundland or somewhere, like 50 degrees north. I don't know exactly where. It's somewhere in eastern Canada. It is just so much colder than the UK because we don't have the Gulf Stream and we have the Labrador Current or whatever it is that brings the cold air down. So yeah, that really sucks. I gotta cross here. Sorry, 1 second. But it's definitely on the west coast. There were two. Let me cross here actually. Sorry, there were two Trachycarpus fortunei, and I think even a needle palm. I don't know what happened to the needle, but there were two trachys that survived for 14 years in Sitka, Alaska. So that's close to 50 degrees north. And they ended up dying. I think it is such a cool climate there. Like, 50s in summer, and then like, high 30s to 40 in winter. So it's, generally speaking, for that latitude, pretty mild, but you just don't have a lot of heat. But I bet somewhere in coastal Alaska you could grow one. Obviously, they're everywhere in Vancouver, Victoria, Vancouver Island. But I think right now, if there's none in coastal Alaska, maybe there's one in Ketchikan. I think Ketchikan probably is the best chance for growing them in coastal Alaska. But yeah, no, I mean, I would say probably somewhere in either coastal Alaska. If they're not there, somewhere in British Columbia along the coast, because it is very mild up there. Yeah, somewhere in Vancouver Island or mainland British Columbia. So, but yeah, they're everywhere in southern British Columbia along the coast, Vancouver Island and Vancouver itself. Let me cross over. Oh, here's a nursery with some palms. Let's check this out. I remember going by here last year. They had some palms. But yeah, Logie's is one of the best places to find. Wow. Rare plant sale in September. That's awesome. 122 Fahrenheit isn't too bad with extremely low humidity. Yeah, I mean, 122 sounds kind of rough with any humidity, any level of humidity, even if it's zero. But, yeah, again, I was in Phoenix. Phoenix, the average high in summer is 107, the average high. So, of course, they have weeks and weeks like this week in the 110s. But, it's remarkably, I wouldn't want to call it even tolerable, but it's remarkably, well, yeah, I guess tolerable, or, it won't kill you, but you just got to stay very well hydrated. And if you want to go on like a hike or something, you just have to do it like either very early in the morning. It's comfortable in the morning, if you have highs at like 115 or something, 120, again, in the morning, even at like 9 a.m., it'll still be in the 80s. So it'll be very comfortable in low humidity. But by the day, like, the cars get to like 150 inside, and it is actually kind of dangerous in some sort of circumstances. But yeah, it's just not nearly as bad as with the humidity. So I guess that's how people in Phoenix survive those summers. I would not want to survive those, but honestly, there's a lot of places I'd rather live in Phoenix as compared to a lot of places, because it is a gorgeous city. It's got great nature access. Also, another amazing thing which people don't talk about too often is the fact that, Arizona is such varied terrain that a lot of places in the Southwest where it gets really hot, you can just drive like an hour and you'll be up in the mountains where it's like 65, 70 degrees, when it's like 110 degrees in the valleys below. So that's the other great thing. You just drive. Like, I was in the Grand Canyon in the middle of the summer when it was like 115 in Phoenix, and it was like chilly at night. It was like 40s at night and like 70s in the day. So that's the other good thing. But no, it's not as bad as with humidity. It's much more tolerable because it always feels cooler from the wind. I can feel the air a little bit, the air quality. But it's not terrible. So I keep crisscrossing the street, but I remember there's some prickly pear on the other side, so try to find those. We get all our storms in May and June. We had a lot of... Wow, yeah, May and June. Is that when like the... Well, I know there's the monsoon season, but that must not hit Idaho, I would think. Do you guys get monsoons up there? Because I know it's like in the southwest, but maybe it doesn't make its way up there. But yeah, July through September season, no rain. Wow, almost no rain. Yeah. Is it humid when the storms hit there? Because I know like Phoenix gets the monsoons in like August, and it cools things off a bit. But is it humid? Like I know the humidity kicks up, but is it enough to actually like raise the temperatures and make it uncomfortable, or is it not too bad? Because I always wonder about that. I was in Phoenix actually when it rained, and yeah, it was. I could feel the humidity a little bit. Dubai gets hot. Forecast there is 106 to 35% humidity. Wow, 92 low. Yeah, that's pretty rough. There's some place in Saudi Arabia I was looking at, the middle of the country. I'm sure no one lives there, but it's like in the middle of the desert. And all the lows, at least this time of year. And again, this time of year, it's not even... Well, I mean, I guess it is, obviously we're into summer now, but all the highs, all the lows I saw were over 100, and all the highs were like in the 120s every single day. That is brutal. That makes Phoenix look mild. And of course, there's lots of places. I think the worst weather on Earth, or the hottest on Earth, is somewhere in Ethiopia, and it's like hundreds of feet below sea level. It's a desert, but I guess it's humid because it's close to the ocean, but it's below sea level. And the average weather there, it's near the equator too. The average weather there every single month of the year, I think, is at least 110 every month of the year. And of course, frequent 120s, lows that are either 100 or close to it. And that is just horrible in my eyes. I do hate the cold. I hate extreme cold, but, as people say, and it is kind of true, you can always put layers on, but, there's only so many layers you can take off. And even if you're naked at 130, that's still not pleasant, especially with some humidity. Because you got to remember, if it's 120, even if you have like 15 or 20% humidity, that is still going to kick up the temperature a little bit. And once you get like 30% humidity, like that's still a very dry climate, 30% humidity. But that will, that'll definitely make it hotter, because at that temperature, any humidity is going to make it hotter. It's just so unbearably hot. But I can also tolerate the heat, I can tolerate the cold somewhat. I like days in the 40s. DC gets plenty of days in the 40s in winter. I'm fine with that. And I can tolerate like now. I mean, now it's like almost 90 and humid. But I'm fine with this. Obviously, in the shade, it feels great. And there's, cloud cover. Yeah, Dubai definitely seems like it gets hot. That's crazy. More smoke and rain today. Terrible. Sorry, Sandor. That's really unfortunate. I hope it clears. Is it supposed to clear? I wasn't able to look at the forecast very much. It seems to be very mixed sort of forecasting regarding the air quality. I guess it's hard to predict that as the winds shift and stuff. But hopefully it clears out. I mean, I know like Montreal, while we were getting the worst of it like 4 weeks ago, the air quality, Montreal had great air quality. I have cousins in Montreal, and it was like really good air quality there. So obviously, just because they're closer to the fires doesn't always mean the air quality is worse. Obviously there's the air patterns and stuff, the wind patterns that blow the air a certain way. So it's very interesting. I don't know. I like researching that kind of stuff, but yeah, I don't know. Hopefully it clears up. Other parts of the UK, I don't really. But here in London, wow. Gosh. That's really unfortunate. Hopefully mosquitoes, hopefully that's not there to stay. Hopefully next year is not as bad. But yeah, thankfully we've been spared the mosquitoes, at least so far this year. I haven't noticed any here in New Jersey so far, which is good. But no, it's a pretty hot day out. I feel the humidity, really. There's a guy in Vermont called Morning Star Nursery. Cold hardy cactus with the best. Wow. Rare apples, pink. That's pretty cool. Vermont, yeah, not the mildest climate. I mean, it's like Southern Ontario kind of, or I mean, even colder than Southern Ontario. It's like, you know, it's a cold climate, but that's impressive. It's really cool. And obviously they have cacti native almost up to New Hampshire, eastern prickly pear, so they can definitely survive there. That's really awesome. Interesting point on mosquitoes in the UK. I don't remember ever seeing them as a kid. Everywhere in summer. Yeah, that's the same here. You see any standing water in DC, there's always gonna be mosquito larvae in them. Maybe they were brought over or something. I mean, I'm guessing they probably are native there, but I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what's worsened it in recent years. Obviously, the weather's changed, but yeah, that's crazy. Hey, Bucky's Dog Games, Palmstream. Great to see you in here from Albuquerque, New Mexico. Great place. One of the, I don't know why it's specifically Albuquerque, but that's just one of the places that fascinates me most. I just love the climate there. I think it's so interesting. Cold desert. Obviously, they're hot right now, but you know, pretty chilly winters, kind of like DC, temperature-wise, at least. Very different humidity and rain and everything. But obviously, the dryness allows them to grow so much more. Huge Washingtonia and stuff there. Just an awesome place, and very beautiful. I've been through there, so love New Mexico. Hopefully your palms are doing well with the heat. It's great to see you in here. Appreciate you joining the live stream. It gets humid when the storms hit. It never gets too bad, and it cools the temps a lot. That's really nice. Yeah, that's good. I just love those dry climates out there. Much more tolerable in my opinion, even if it's like 100 or something. Dalal. They are native, but we have invasive tiger mosquitoes. Tiger mosquitoes, oh gosh, that's awful. I don't know what the ones we have here are. Oh, look at this. This is what I was talking about. Look at this. That's just awesome. This is the native eastern prickly pear. So this is native here in New Jersey, and it's amazing they're still blooming. I have not seen looked like they stopped blooming in the DC area about 2 weeks ago at least, but that is just awesome. Still got some blooms. You can see just how many spent blooms there are. Look at how many blooms those are. Every one of those whitish crumpled dot things. That's all blooms and some big fruit on there, which is awesome. Few big spines, but spines, the glaucids, which are not fun, but just beautiful yellow flowers. This one looks like the Cespitosa variety, because I think they have the more reddish interiors on the flowers like that, sort of pinkish, purplish red. Just beautiful. Still flowering here, which is awesome. So, native eastern from last time. I think more people cultivating them, and again, I saw some wild ones in the dunes today, so I'm going to be uploading 2 videos of those. And I've really gotten more into cacti. I mean, I've always loved them, but I've really started researching them more and just sort of, you know, piqued my interest. And I've started researching more wild ones. So I'm going to try to, you know, when I go places like here, obviously in the DC area, try to find some wild ones and film them, because I think it's just really cool that they're native here. It's just awesome. Oh, sorry guys, shouldn't be too much longer. Last time I went to Maryland, Paw Festival, huge hardy citrus, that's awesome. Pawpaw Festival, that sounds like something I'd love to go to. I love pawpaw. One of my favorite, one of the only deciduous trees I really care for in the DC area. Not that I like hate the other ones, but just don't really have much interest in them. They're just, you know, they're nice and sort of jungle looking in summer, but in winter they're just, in my opinion, quite ugly. I mean, driving through, you know, a forested area in the DC area, it's just all brown and, you know, so little actual green color in it. I just love all our native evergreen species. They just add so much to the forest. Eastern hemlock, eastern white pine, several pine species, but they're all pretty rare, except for on the eastern side of the DC area where you got some pine forests. And of course, you know, eastern prickly pear and like stuff like that. But pawpaw I love because it's a tropical relative. It's in a genus, the only genus in its family not from the tropics, so it's a very tropical looking species, and all of its relatives are tropical, so very awesome. It's got these massive tropical like fruits. I've never tasted them, but I've heard they're good. And they're native up to Ontario as well, and down to Florida, but not to South Florida, just into North Florida. So really cool species. That's awesome. Hardy citrus too. Sorry, I hope I'm getting near. Is that the lake? There's a lake I need to cross. There's a bridge that goes across the lake. And then we will be at the pond. There it is, okay. So we're close. Oh, it's amazing. I can still see the traffic light that I crossed like 20 minutes ago. It's amazing. These roads go all the way to the ocean. This is a very invasive species here. Kind of exotic looking. It does have a sort of cool look to it, which is why people planted it. But this one here, Tree of Heaven, very, very invasive species. Do not plant the Tree of Heaven, and remove any if you have them in your yard. I'm going to try to do some like removal projects, maybe like on the side of the highway or something. That's the thing is though, you know, it's like, there's sort of the mentality like, why even try? Because they're just going to resprout everywhere. And I mean, you drive, it's kind of sad. You know, you drive the highways up and down the East Coast. They are like along like probably like 80% of the shoulders in the highway. And, you know, how do you remove them all? Is it even possible? Like, they should like really be using drones or something to try to remove them. Some sort of technology, but I don't know. I just really don't like the invasive species. I think they're attractive plants, but, you know, I don't know. I just always sort of wince when I see them, even though I think they're kind of cool looking. The ones I really hate are English ivy, and especially kudzu. That is just, oh my God. The bane of my existence. Cannot stand kudzu. Horribly invasive, ugly vine, just grows up and down the trees. And in winter, it looks like they got like these large strands of rope on them. It looks very ugly, in my opinion. But yeah. Anyways, need to head out, but thanks for the stream. Hope the air quality continues to get better. Hope the weather. Thank you so much, MC Tropics. Appreciate that. Have a good one. And I'm heading up to a needle palm, but I'm going to be uploading video of it probably later today. So if you don't see it now, you'll get to see it later. So no worries about that. And I always appreciate you joining in. Hope all is well in Idaho. Sounds like the weather's warm, which is good. And yeah, have a good one. Thank you so much. Thanks. My palms are doing good. Got a new queen palm. I saw that Bucky's Dog Games palm trees. I saw that you got a new queen palm, and I will be watching that video shortly, and I look forward to seeing that. Yeah, again, obviously not a, you know, they'll definitely need protection in the Albuquerque area. I know there's some mule palms, which is a hybrid. What is it a hybrid of? It's a hybrid. Is it Butia cross queen palm? The mules. They look kind of like queen palms, but there were 4 of them that were planted in near Truth or Consequences, New Mexico. So obviously a bit milder than Albuquerque. And they survived the first winter in the ground so far with some defoliation. But I would imagine queen palms are less hardy. You know, even in El Paso, I know there was like a few of them planted in El Paso, and only one of them survives out of like a planting of them. So they're pretty marginal even there. They will need protection in Albuquerque, but good luck with that. And yeah, they're kind of skinny, so easy to protect, at least at a young age. So that's awesome. You got some awesome palms there. So yeah. Persimmons are good to their... Yeah, persimmons are cool. Yeah, it's true. It's a good point. There's plenty of deciduous trees that I do like. Don't get me wrong. I also like our native American sycamore, which is here, especially along the shore. They line the streets with them all the way down to the beach. That's a really cool look. Because in my opinion, usually a deciduous tree, for me to like them, for my opinion, they've either got to have really nice leaves or really nice bark. You know, obviously pawpaws have the very tropical leaves. And American sycamores have this beautiful spotted bark. It's like half brown, half white. It's like this really clear white color. And it looks a lot like eucalyptus bark, actually. So it's really cool. Even in winter, they still have a cool look to them with all that bark. And they actually do stay green pretty late in the season, which I like. So they're very cool trees. And native, they grow all over the DC area, all over the East Coast. But I think they mostly grow in sort of valleys along rivers, not as much in like mountain areas. But very, very cool trees. And they grow massive. Yeah, but they're all over. They line the streets with them here, which I much prefer to see a street line with sycamores towering, and they sort of meet in the middle and create like an arch over the street, rather than like, you know, like a maple or something. I'd much rather have the sycamores. They're beautiful. Yeah, persimmons are cool. I was looking on social media, and it seems a few more people have queen palms in the UK. Is that right, Cal? See, I've yet to see a big one in the UK, but I mean, honestly, if there's a Caryota growing there, I'm sure they could. The problem with queen palms in most places, even like Florida, California, they often look ratty, but obviously if they're well cared for, they can look great. And yeah, I'd love to see more planted. I'd love to see some Hawea planted as well in the UK. Another great one that should make it there. So that is just awesome. My neighbor has hybrid persimmon, has tons of, interesting. Yeah, persimmon